So I attempted my hand at a two-part spray foam kit, and I had some pretty terrible like systemic failures in adhesion and foam quality. And I'm gonna just tear it all off now. I don't totally know what went wrong, but part of it had to do with the temperature, and another part of it had to do, I think, with the product itself. And in this video, we're going to explore my failure and possibly a product failure as an educational moment. Close-cell two-part spray foam is not supposed to have these adhesion problems. They say that the adhesion problems are caused by a dirty substrate, a wet substrate, or an oily substrate. And I had pressure washed this 4 days previously, so possibly it was wet, but it was definitely clean when I installed it. So I called up the company where I bought this from, asked for some help and advice with what's going on, and they gave me a procedure for testing foam. And this is probably what you should do before you spray foam. And it involves, spraying a blob and cracking it open and making sure the mixing is good, that you don't have two different colors in the foam, because there's a red part A chemical and then there's a clear part B chemical. And make sure you don't have any pink streaks in there, that you're getting really good mixing. And the second is spraying it to something like a scrap piece of plywood and doing a pull test, seeing how hard it is to pull it off. And then with those two tests, you know that you're spraying good foam, which will do what you want. So this next part of the video is the test procedure on this same kit that I filmed, and I sent them the results. Spoiler alert. They said, yeah, it doesn't look quite right. We're gonna see, we're gonna contact the manufacturer and see if we can, get you a new product. So here's the test procedure. One thing I'm seeing is there's some air. I mean, I left these on. These are, all the way on, pressure lines overnight. There's air in the part A chemical, and I can't tell anything with the part B chemical, because it's a clear chemical. But the other thing is the part B really sounds like, and it feels like it has a lot more chemical left in it. So I mean, that could be evidence to a mixing ratio problem, but I don't really know. Let's just do a quick test of the weight. I mean, this scale isn't super accurate, but maybe it'll give us an idea. 12.5 pounds. This is indicating 16 pounds. Let's double check. 12.5, 15.5. I don't know. There's a few pound difference in these two tanks by weight. I don't really know what that means. Right now, these tanks are 65 degrees Fahrenheit. My plywood's 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 66. So let's warm these tanks up. So the chemicals are up to temperature. They're around 75, 76 degrees. I just wanted to show you these spray nozzles. So they come out real blue. All of them in the package are blue. But apparently these are color changing. So when you heat them up for a while, they will get lighter. Here's a warm one. Here's a cold one. See how they change color? So apparently these can help tell you if your foam's at the right temperature for spraying. Alright, I'm going to shake these and take a temperature. Instructions say shake closed cell for a minute and shake open cell for 5. Proof that I'm shaking it. I've already shaken them, but I'm going to shake them more just so it's on film. Now to the part A component. You can hear it. It's a lot thinner than the B component. So if you're under temperature, the one that might not flow right is probably the part B. Because this really sounds like liquid in here. Really liquidy. With the foam I'd sprayed previously, it's very crunchy. The two dark crunchy foam or white spongy foam, both can be caused by material is too cold, clogged nozzle, blockage of one chemical port, or gun crossover. I don't know what gun crossover is. replace hose. I guess if you had it hooked up wrong. The crunchy is a rich situation, and so with having less A component left and more B component left, crunchy foam, this being a lot more liquid and this being a lot thicker, that it makes sense that I have the outcome with the foam that I do, considering, you know, which component has more of it left. All right, so well shaken tanks. Well, depending how I hit it, if I hit it dead on, I'm at 76. This one says 79. Uh-oh. $77. So somewhere between, you know, depending on where I hit it in the tank, trying to hit it where the liquid is. You know, mid-70s is where we're at. So that's good. So let's just do a test. I like to evacuate the lines, because these lines haven't heated up like the tanks have. Well, they're in range. They're in the 70s. Well, part of it is 70, part of it is 68. So let's go ahead and change the nozzle. We'll get a nice blue one that's cold. And we'll pop it in. And let's just make a little patty right here with chemical. Oops, I got the safety on. Alright, got some air out. Got a lot of air in the line. Alright, the tip has gotten lighter, so we're at a good temperature. So let's go ahead and do our adhesion test on the dry plywood, which is 78 degrees. Right, don't want to get too much splatter everywhere. And we'll just let that thing grow and do its business. Now let's do that test to see if we're getting good mixing. So we'll do a couple of them. Do one of those. We'll do one of those. So we're trying to wait about a minute, right? I guess I can pull up a timer. Let's do a stopwatch. What do you think? We need about 45 more seconds, and then we'll pop one of these off and rip it in half. So these are putting off good heat. All right, we're getting close on our timer. All right, let's see if we can pop this puppy off. And then let's see if we can rip it in half. And if you look at it, there is no discoloration. We had excellent foam generation, I guess. Some of these bubbles are kind of big still. They said anything around like a 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch are a little bit concerning, but maybe it's because I beat it down a bit. Let's try this one that got beat down a bit less. And this one has real good mixing too. I don't see any discoloration in this. So let's just give it the full 5 minutes to set up, or more. Let's give it 15-20 minutes. I'll be back in 15-20 minutes and we'll check adhesion, see what it's like. So the point of this test is to see if we had a problem with moisture content on the ferrocement. Check the adhesion to this piece of plywood here. But the problem is, you know, I didn't have a moisture meter, and today it's raining. Yeah, so what we're trying to figure out is why this foam doesn't stick very well. Let's see. Why I can just pop it off. So on my misadventure yesterday, the foam has all these huge cavities in it, and we're wondering if that was caused by moisture. I sprayed yesterday because I wanted to get to it before the rain. And it was, you know, a 55-degree day or so. All the tips and tricks and stuff was like like, oh yeah, you can do a little colder if you get your chemical temperatures up. And so I had them inside for 3 days. I left them in my car with the heat on high until I was ready to spray, you know, blah, blah, blah. Excuses, excuses. I'd love it to not be my fault. The foam that's not touching the dome is pretty good stuff. And then the outside is a little bit popcorny. But this particular sample is a lot denser than this other stuff, the styrofoamy stuff from a different location. I don't know, what would that be? Oh, that was probably caused by the substrate temperature being in full sun by the time I got to it and warming way up. Whereas, you know, where I sprayed this, you know, styrofoam type stuff, it was, I heated it with a propane heater and maybe it cooled off before I got to it. So it's been, you know, I started this timer after I did all these other tests. So since spraying this, maybe we're at 20 minutes or so. Let's just try pulling this off down here right now. See what it does. Okay, well that's not sticking at all. Well, I mean it sticks, but it's just barely there. Let's wait a little bit longer and try the top side. So SprayJones, a YouTube channel all about spray foam, posted this video, 4 pitfalls of spray foam insulation to avoid. And what he's going to talk about here is, well, he's going to demonstrate a pull test. So let's just watch that together.
The foam itself, especially in 2-pound foam, should be hard to remove. Even half-pound foam requires some effort to dig it out when it's properly adhered. You're not supposed to just grab onto a piece of it and be able to pull a huge section of it off with little to no effort. So it should require some tools. It should require some beating on it and hammering and using a crowbar, pry bar to get the foam to disbond. If the substrate is clean and dry, then adhesion is not going to be an issue.
This is clean, and this is dry. What's my issue? This is a 1.75 pound kit. You know, that demonstration with the pry bars, that was a 2-pound kit. It's been about 24 minutes on this timer, so getting close to 30 minutes of being up. I guess we could try a little bit higher up. I don't know. You shouldn't be able to pull on it. So this is much more well adhered than the dome, but it still just kind of pops right off. Alright, so just a side note. Look at the color difference in just one day of being exposed outside. It is a little darker on the bottom too, but not much. And that also supports our rich achemical theory. But anyways, let's peel this off. We are at 1 hour. So this has been attached for 1 hour. We'll start up here. I'm just going to hold this steady. Let's see how it does. So we can just grab it, pop it. Yeah. All the way off. So is that what you're supposed to be able to do with this finger strength, remove closed cell foam from the substrate? I don't think so. Not based on what SprayJones showed. And so it was adhered better. The amount of bubbles and such, a lot more smoothness to the substrate, but there's still some pretty big cavities. I think the foam quality is higher, the adhesion slightly better. Anyways, it's just, I don't know. Maybe this isn't the product for you know, what I'm trying to do. I want to bury it, you know? Maybe I should just hire a professional to do it. Definitely based off of how yellow this got so quick. I bet the elastomer coating or whatever you spray on foam to protect it from UV, if you're going to spray outside, this should probably just cover it the same day, right? and just protect the foam from deterioration. Does that texture mean anything to anybody? It's not too popcorny, but yeah. Shit. I mean, crap. I wanted better outcome. I wanted to prove that I did something wrong, but I think this kit is inadequate for my purposes, really. So, as you can see, right, temperature played a big role in the quality of the foam I got sprayed. But the adhesion issues were just peels off in huge sheets like this. What accounts for that? That's why I suspect maybe either this product doesn't do what I think it does, or the particular cans that I received had something wrong with it, or maybe it really is just all about temperature. Because I was spraying A part rich. The B part is such a thicker chemical that you got to have it up to temperature in order to get it to move enough through the line to match the amount of A that you're spraying. But over here, this foam is pretty good quality compared to what's down in the shadows. I'm going to show you spray it in the next segment, because that is straight up crunchy. All right, get a good listen to this. This is the stuff that probably actually was sprayed too cold. The other wall was warm enough because it was in the sun. But this here, it's like styrofoam. So in this final section of the video, this is my actual attempt at spraying foam. I'm just adding this, not really as a how-to, but in case anyone wants to sort of, figure out what went wrong. I'm pretty sure my ratio was obstructed by temperatures, even though, as you will see, I tried very hard to reach the temperatures recommended in the instruction manual. I bought this handy foam closed cell, do-it-yourself foam kit. It's supposed to do 600 square feet of coverage, 1 inch thick. I'm keeping it in the car with the heater on because it's a 50-degree day, and while the substrate temperatures can be 50, it wants the chemical to be up in the 70s. So these have been stored in my house for several days, waiting for a fairly warmish day to happen, and so I'm just keeping them warm. Alright, so I'm just going to use this propane heater to see if I can bring the ambient temperature up, or the substrate temperature up just a little bit to match the surrounding air temperature of about 53 degrees. So it's going to take a lot of energy to change the temperature of this concrete. The surface temperature has changed a bit, but I'm going to try to let it just warm up the concrete, all the way through, because it's about that thick. Ferrocement, mind you. So, it's the inside of this wall that we're warming up. Let's just see where we are over here. Yeah, we're getting close. 52 in some spots, 40 in a lot. But it's definitely come up. Nice. Get that rubber off. So I'm taking off the rubber cap. I don't really need these this close to me, but it's the flattest place I have in the reach of the hose. So that's why I have them right here where I'm working. So A gets red. I'm going to leave these in the box just for the extra insulation to keep the temperature from going down too quick. These are like a flare fitting. Tighten them up enough they won't leak. The instructions say that if they leak, it will hurt the blend and reduce your yield. So A, red, B will be black. We're going to turn both the parts on counterclockwise all the way. Now it wants us to just waste some chemical until we get even flow out of both of these nozzles. Alright, so we're going to just shoot chemical until both are flowing nice. So it says until a stream comes out. Alright, there's 2 streams. And it said wait until after shooting the chemical to put Vaseline on. It says put Vaseline everywhere except for on the tips itself. And then these, there's a little notch. It finds a notch, and then you're clicked on. So now we should be ready to foam. Oh my God. It says spray it in the trash can. I'm just going to spray it on this bit of foam here. See what it does. A foot away. Okay, yeah, not bad. Let's get going. Oh, it's hard to do it in these cramped quarters. Wow, I'm missing a lot of spots here. Alright, well I guess that's what a second coat is for. So I'm going to take a break because I'm doing like the worst foam job in the history of foam. There's a learning curve. Maybe if I was standing on level ground and I could do a better job. But when you take a break, you just leave it. Leave it just like that. Don't even worry about it. It'll just set up and then you swap the tip. So there's some places that I just didn't get full coverage. So I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna focus on that 1/2 to 3/4 throttle and slower movement. 1/1000 per foot. Let it stack up a bit, cover better. And then I'm gonna do all that off camera, and I'm gonna reset the camera up to a different part when I'm out of this hole because it's just really cramped in here with all this stuff. So let's change the tip real quick. It's super easy because you have Vaseline in there. You pop the old one off and you flop the new one in. So this is turning into like a major disaster. Do you see this? It's not even connected to the dome. It's just like it's shrunk and it's popping off everywhere. It's just loose all over the damn place. I didn't notice it until I got over here and I stopped for a second and I was like, whoa, what is this? It's not even on the dome. And adhesion is pretty bad. I mean, this wants to pop right up. I could pull this whole thing off as a sheet, I think. I'm not going to finish the kit because I think it'd just be more to clean up because I can't use this as I intended it to be. Closed cell foam is waterproof. You're supposed to be able to you know, bury it, waterproof it, all that stuff. But it's really soft and it smashes. I don't think it would hold up to backfill. It's not stuck to the dome. I don't think it'll hold up to, I don't know, water. This is an absolute nightmare. I have contacted the customer support where I bought it, and they're contacting their rep at Handy Foam to discuss the situation. But at this point, I'm hoping that I can just get my money back. That maybe these, some problems with the chemicals, defective, and I can just cut my losses and get out of here and waste a bunch of time peeling this off and fill up a dumpster with it. I don't know. This is big time disappointing, man. So, if I had to guess, you know, what really went wrong with my my part of this problem, I think, you know, I'm pretty confident that the chemical temperatures were fine and that I had the substrate temperatures where they needed to be. I think where the chemical got cold on me was as it traveled through the line. Just lost too much temperature too quickly and led to some crazy mixing issues. Like this stuff here is the very powdery, crunchy mix. It's not, the whole wall is not powdery and crunchy. This is the crunchiest. And then up there it got pretty good, right? So this indicates the rich A chemical, and that makes sense if your lines get cold because the B chemical is thick like molasses and the A chemical is thin like water, and so as it got, you know, as it cooled in the lines, it didn't travel as fast. That B chemical slowed down, so we got off ratio over here. But this other wall was more of just an adhesion problem. You know, as I worked my way around, I got into the sun. The hoses weren't getting cold anymore, but it still wouldn't stick. So, whatever. Long story short, I really believe that I had something to do with it, and that the product had maybe a default. I know it's hard to believe. You know, I have a hard time believing it, actually. Talking to the company, they said, well, man, that, you know, we haven't had any complaints on this batch. I've even called people and asked them how it went. They said it went great. And I believe them when they say that. So I'm just some sort of unique case here. Anyways, that's that. I hope this is educational to you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Entertaining, perhaps. So I'm just trying to beg for a thumbs up. That's all I want. Give me a thumbs up. Y'all be good. I'll catch you next time. And also, I'm going to put this video in my Ferrocement playlist, but that doesn't really go with the timeline of the videos there. We're still finishing the roof when it comes to the playlist, but this is just going to go as sort of a standalone, not part of the series, but it's there because it has to do with Ferrocement. Alright, peace. Y'all be good. Oh my god, this is such a colossal waste. I mean, it's a waste of time, a waste of money, a waste of product, and it's so discouraging. Making no progress. Oh, phooey.